Floyd Mayweather ruled out of particular fights in shock retirement return by boxing analyst. Setting the boxing world alight, Floyd Mayweather hinted at a potential return to the ring professionally, off the back of his exhibition return next year. Set to enter the ring for another lucrative exhibition pairing, Floyd Mayweather will share the squared circle with veteran rival Mike Tyson, with the heavyweight icon continuing his recent comeback to the ring. And expected to take on the Catskills puncher as soon as next spring, Mayweather recently teased a potential return to the ring in a professional setting. However, a veteran boxing analyst has suggested Mayweather's shock return to the ring for the first time in 8 years would likely come against underwhelming opposition. Latest news: Floyd Mayweather hints at shock return to boxing after Mike Tyson fight. To risk his iconic pro record, Floyd Mayweather backed to avoid top guys and potential retirement return. Yet to fight professionally since his 2017 retirement, Mayweather most recently turned in his 50th professional win, beating the record of the late Rocky Marciano with a knockout win over crossover star Conor McGregor. In that return, Mayweather snapped another 2-year retirement after defeating Andre Berto to match the record of Marciano. However, as far as boxing analyst Dan Rafael is concerned, Mayweather would likely fight lesser competition in a return in a bid to improve on his 50-0 record. I hope that Floyd Mayweather is not hurting for money, Rafael told Boxing Social. I just don't see the need for it, a return from retirement. It wouldn't frankly interest me that much, because he's not going to fight a top guy, and I don't want to see him fight a top guy. Furthermore, when asked if Mayweather may have taken inspiration from former foe Manny Pacquiao's recent return to fight Mario Barrios, Rafael insisted he hoped talk of a rematch between the duo would not happen. I mean, I hope this doesn't lead to some sort of stupid discussion of doing a rematch between Floyd and Manny, because I have literally less than zero interest in that, Rafael explained. Rafael's assessment of Mayweather's return follows a recent vein of accusations leveled at Mayweather by another boxing analyst, who broke down the Michigan star's career. Floyd Mayweather's career prime came under the microscope. Landing some notable victories during his illustrious career in the ring, Mayweather held championships across numerous weight divisions, to go with his gleaming pro record. However, as far as Max Kellerman is concerned, who returned to the sport to call Canelo Alvarez's title fight with Terence Crawford earlier this month, Mayweather leaves a lot to be desired when you look at his career. So much so, the 49-year-old was accused once again of an age-old claim by the boxing head. Jake Paul blasts slug fans over Gervonta Davis. Fixed conspiracy theories. Jake Paul is taking issue with fans and critics already, with conspiracy theories on his fight with Gervonta Davis already taking a foothold. Meeting with WBA lightweight champion Gervonta Davis for the first time face-to-face overnight, Jake Paul shared the stage with the unbeaten puncher at a pre-fight press conference, and slated to throw down, albeit in an exhibition match in November. The duo will compete over the course of 10 rounds. However, amid much discourse on social media regarding the clash, Paul has hit back at critics who claim the fix is already in on his fight with the Baltimore Star. Latest news: Jake Paul ripped as ridiculous with Anthony Joshua fight on the card for 2026 by boxing analyst. Jake Paul addresses slug fans over Gervonta Davis fix claims. As is par for the course when Paul enters the ring, many speculate the outcome of the clash is already weighed in the Ohio native's favor. Namely, Paul was accused of fixing his December win over Mike Tyson, as well as numerous fights in the past, notably against the likes of Ben Askren, as well as his rematch win over ex-UFC champion Tyron Woodley. But with accusations once more leveled at Paul, the influencer has fired back, describing critics of him as slugs. Police Scarlight, the full details for Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis have been revealed. Reading tweets by these slugs saying Tank, Gervonta Davis, is going to take a dive. I'm really that F. Great that you all are making excuses already. Paul posted on his X account, if I walk on water they will say sick, it's because I can't swim. Jake Paul makes bold prediction for Gervonta Davis clash. Set to share the ring in the Sunshine State, Paul and Davis will duke it out in an exhibition showdown in Florida. However, despite the nature of the pairing, Paul remains confident of turning in one of the biggest upsets in recent boxing history. So much so, the former Disney Channel star launched his latest prediction, vowing to ditch the rule set for these particular matchups. Canelo Alvarez urged to make big career change and put strong brand on the line against UK, star sharing the ring with his fair share of British talent in the past. Canelo Alvarez has been urged to consider a showdown with an emerging force from the UK in his return. With his future still up in the air, Canelo Alvarez has remained somewhat tight-lipped on what is next for him after his loss to Terence Crawford earlier this month, and linked with a whole host of matchups already as somewhat of a potential retirement tour. Canelo has been most strongly linked to a pair of British stars. However, as far as a prominent promoter is concerned, Canelo should first make quite the shuffle in his career. Latest news. Iconic photo from Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez used by football team for unique reason. Canelo Alvarez urged to make middleweight move for Chris Eubank Jr. fight. Making his most recent middleweight proper walk 6 years ago, Canelo would win the IBF divisional crown with a unanimous decision win over Daniel Jacobs, and going on to win light heavyweight and then undisputed gold at the super middleweight limit. The Mexican has been encouraged to take stock and make a return to middleweight. As far as IBA.pro leader Al Siesta is concerned, too, Canelo would be wise to put his brand on the line against Chris Eubank Jr. in his immediate return to the ring. I would also advise Canelo Alvarez to either close the lost chapter or try to win the title again, Siesta told Telecom Asia Sport. Canelo is a strong brand. Maybe Saul should drop down to middleweight, for example, to have a fight with Chris Eubank Jr., Siesta explained. IBA.pro is looking at that fight. Believe it or not, we are interested in Canelo. Slated to share the ring with rival Conor Benn in just 8 weeks, Eubank Jr. has already been tipped to land Canelo in what would come as the Mexican's first ever bout in the UK. Chris Eubank Jr. back to land Wembley fight with Canelo Alvarez. Competing exclusively in North America, Mexico, and the Middle East recently as part of his gold-laden career, Canelo has yet to set foot on British soil inside the ring at least. However, despite taking on a slew of British stars, including John Ryder, Liam Smith, and the veteran Amir Khan in his career, Canelo could be in line for a trip to Wembley to take on Eubank Jr. if the Hove native gets through Benn for the second time in his career.